If DWP have been asking you for your bank statements and they keep asking you for your bank statements, regardless of whether you're working, not working, on PIP, not even claiming an unemployment benefit, on LCWRA or even ESA, then this is definitely the video that you want to watch. And I'm going to be answering in a moment this question here. So make sure you watch the video to the end. And also, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting the Justice Journals. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it does help me to build more awareness of what's kind of going on and help some of you who do not know your rights relating to the things we discuss on this channel know a little bit more about them. So what can DWP see when they look at your bank statements? This is a common question I get asked. It's something that lots of you are referring to in the comments. And now we have all of these new policies that have come in and they relate to the FEAR Act, which is the Fraud, Error and Recovery Act. There are now certain changes since that act has been brought in, which means DWP may be asking you for your bank statements for very different reasons. So first of all, I bet most of you think that DWP are asking for your bank statements because of these reasons. You think it's simply to check your capital, your income, whether you're working or not, how many different accounts you may have, whether you're betting, transfers you may be making in between accounts or to other people, cash withdrawals, payments from family, payments from PayPal, payments from Vinted, Etsy, Amazon, TikTok Shop, regular payments that are not being disclosed or explained, payments that look like work but are in actual fact very, very simple payments. For example, your mother may be housebound and you do a little bit of shopping for her and then she transfers the money to your account, and even other spending patterns that could most definitely paint a very different story to the actual truth as to what is happening in your life. Because as a former finance manager many years ago, I can tell you that people's bank accounts tell a very telling story about their lifestyle. And that is why I keep saying your bank statement is not just a bank statement. So be very careful who you give access to that. So let's just start with the universal credit reviews, because lots of people are asking a lot of questions about this, and I think quite rightly so. If you are on your third universal credit review and every 6 months you are being requested to provide bank statements, I think you should be entitled to ask why. And that's exactly why I created the data review kit. And I really advise you strongly to use it and use the letters that are in it, because there are all sorts of errors in the land of DWP. And if they make an error on your account and they falsely accuse you of something, you're going to have more than a he said, she said piece of evidence to try and back up your claim to not doing anything dodgy. Now, the government's own website says this. Now, please bear in mind that this is universal credit guidance. There is a difference between guidance and actual law. I'm also going to say that all of my videos are not legal advice. Should you require legal advice, go and get legal advice from a regulated legal expert. Now, if you look at further paragraphs on that DWP guidance, it does say, if your universal credit is reviewed, the review agent may need to check whether your details are up to date, including things like housing costs, earnings or other income, self-employment savings, childcare costs, children, student finance, and caring responsibilities. It also says the review agent will need to see statements and documents without changes or edits. Now, this is where lots of people are having problems, and I get it. Lots of people think, well, this is my private information, I'm just going to black it out or redact it. Now, whilst their guidance does say here, without changes or edits, Covering up private information, category A information under data protection and GDPR, isn't making a change or an edit. But, and this is why I've done the data review kit, there is a big difference between covering up some of your private information, category A data. And for those of you who don't know what category A data is, that's maybe you're a member or you pay money to a religious organization. Maybe you pay, maybe you are a membership to a lesbian or gay or something related to sexual orientation, website, membership, whatever. Medical payments are also considered category A data. So the relevance here is also for PIP claimants who don't claim any unemployment benefit but do receive personal independence payments. The importance here is before you submit statements, you should be submitting the various different letters depending on where you are in this journey that are in my data review kit, so that your rights under GDPR and data protection are first protected and second requested. That means should anything happen to you, your account, the action they take against you, or heaven forbid their account's being hacked and your information going somewhere where really it shouldn't, then you're going to have a clear audit trail of what you requested, what you were unhappy about, and how you have been mandated to provide something that you're not necessarily happy about doing. Now, I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to link a video down below to the decision of the upper tribunal, who actually state, and this is in February 2026, that the Department of Work and Pensions cannot close claims through lack of evidence. So if a bank statement, you refusing to provide a bank statement or refusing to provide a bank statement without reducting some of your information is then considered as not complying with providing evidence, I would be maybe thinking, are they on a slippy slope there because of the upper tribunal decision that's already overturned the Department of Work and Pensions decisions on this element already. Now, obviously, if you hand over your entire bank statement to anybody, not only are they going to have your personal name, address, bank account details, all that, but they're going to have your transactional data. So that's all the payments you make, all the income coming in, going out, transfers, absolutely every single thing that you do within your bank. This could include wages, benefits, gift vouchers, gifts from families and friends, withdrawals, different platform payments, like I said, Etsy, Vinted, eBay, rent, bills, credit card payments. And what this transactional data then actually provides them with is activity data. It's literally providing them with what you're doing in the week, where you go, who you talk to, the types of things you're buying, how often you're spending, how you're paying, if you're leaving your house, if you're not, if you're having deliveries. And that activity data is where the problem can lie, because it is technically, and I mean technically, the difference between what they can actually see with their eyes and what they assume. But assumption isn't fact. But if you don't have credible explanations for all of the other things that you're doing in your everyday banking, then that assumption can be very easily wavered into being a fact. Now, of course, we all have rights in this country. Apparently, we have a justice system in this country that's apparently worth its weight in gold. And whether you are in an employment tribunal, a PIP tribunal, an upper tribunal wanting to overturn certain decisions made by organisations like DWP, and from somebody who's been through that process 3 different times myself, I'm going to just read out this comment from one of my commenters, which I think is going to sum up quite a lot of what I have experienced, and I'm sure many of you have too, which is why you should be very careful about the data you hand over. Been in the employment tribunal for 20 months for discrimination. My case is being dragged out. Been off sick with depression and suffering other issues. Don't really have an exit plan. Assume they will dismiss me if I lose my case. But got a long way to go. Must know that things can get really complex because you are not just dealing with an employer, but numerous systems all working in the background against you. As I am currently finding, i.e. GP, DWP, colleagues, it's tough going and can go on for years. The waiting game is right and justice system may appear biased and unfair. Now, I've been looking at my analytics here on YouTube and most of you are not watching past 7 minutes. So if you've got to this point, make sure you leave me a comment. And if you want me to do the second part of what they can and they cannot see and other ways that you can protect yourself when it comes to the bank statements saga.